Welcome to the Hobby Jogger Podcast, where elite athletes and ham and eggers lace up their stories. We explore the common ground that running creates, from the world-class runner to the hobbyist hitting the pavement, trail, or treadmill. Expect a blend of inspiration, laughter, and the shared joy that makes every step count. Join us on this journey where every run is a story worth sharing. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Hobby Jogger. I am Casey Koza, once again joined by my co-host, Mr. Rob Myers. Rob, getting ready to go over to France. How's the training coming?
I'd love to say great, but it is what it is. It's hot. We all know that. It's humid. It was 95% humidity today. I am moving very slow, but I'm getting the miles. So
that's all we can ask for. That's all we really need to do is get on our feet and get out there moving. But today we've got an awesome show. We have a packed house. We have Mr. Zach Wilson, fresh off of Hard Rock. We also have his crew and pacers, Stefan and Troy, with us. Stefan, Troy, Zach, welcome to the Hobby Jogger. How you guys doing today?
Good. Thanks for having
us. Super. Yeah. Trying to figure out if I'm glad to be here or back on 75 miles at Hard Rock with Zach. I might rather be here. I don't know. That was some hard work.
That is some pretty hard work. I know I've heard a lot of the course of I guess it's not a race. It's an endurance run, which, yeah, that's, I think, aptly named. So that's a key discrepancy, I guess we should point out. Not a race, but it is an endurance run, although some people do race it. So very excited to talk about that. But first, Zach, I wanted to start off. How did you get into trail running? It seems maybe you were influenced by someone on this panel here to get into.
That's accurate. I'll say I'm generally an active person and, had been doing a lot of different outdoor activities. Also, coach. I'm an educator. So coaching athletics as a whole thing, and was, I think right before trail running, had been doing a lot of dabbling with some rock climbing and paddling sports. But those are things you need people to help you with, ideally, right? To be on belay or just to be safe out on the water, you need other people to help you. And at the time, I was living in Marietta, Georgia, and it was a little more challenging to find someone to go out with me. And we were having kids. I'd stopped riding motorcycles. I'd stopped doing more dangerous things. And I was like, you know what? I think I just like being out in the woods. I'm going to start trail running at some point. So I started getting rid of some of those other things. I was like, I can do that by myself, right? I don't need anybody to be out in the woods and run with me. But the irony of that is, once you get into a running community, like, there's tons of people that want to run. It's really easy to find that. And so those barriers just aren't there like they are with other outdoor sports. I'll also say, I think I misspoke. I wasn't in Marietta yet, but I was still living. Stefan Edie, who's on here, how deep do we want to get in this? We were living together at the time with a lot of high school girls, and this sounds really weird, but it's going to get weirder. My wife and I are both educators, so Stefan, and at the time, my wife worked in the same school as Stefan. It's a boarding school in Northwest Georgia. So
I'm glad we clarified that up. That was
Well, I wanted to.
Zach and I are living in a girl's dorm.
Yeah, that's girls' dorm together. What more do you want to know? We were sharing meals.
Meals and miles.
Meals and miles. So that was a fun thing. We had a pretty fun little group there. People who it was funny, like kind of like a little commune. Still, Stefan still lives there, not in the dorm anymore. I guess they finally kicked him out too. Yeah. But we would eat in the dining hall together. We would go and run miles together on the weekend, during the week as needed, doing a lot of fun things. What got me into their group, honestly, though, is they had went and done what you guys done? Was it a Tough Mudder?
A Tough Mudder, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they'd done a Tough Mudder, and there are all these stories about people shenanigans during that, whether it's like the electrodes and stuff, and getting, kind of really sounding like a bad time, but one of those bad times that's fun to tell stories about. And I was like, I need to be doing some of that. So that led into us trying out to do an obstacle course race. And we were getting ready for a longer one of those. It was a Spartan Beast, and it required a half marathon distance of running. And I realized I'd never run that far before, much less the obstacles. So we did a first trail half marathon. And I guess that was kind of the first real big thing, was just training for the running side of that.
Sweet. So it sounds like you have a lot of good influences around you.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah, we only accelerated from there.
yeah, I was gonna say in that phase of things for at least a couple of years, that made us like not good at anything really for obstacle course racing because you have to also have a lot of strength for all the climbing and that sort of thing. So we were trail running and doing a lot of CrossFit at the same time, which just means we were just always sore from one thing or the other and like good enough to have fun, but not really like be competitive.
Well, before we get into the race, tell me about Ridge and Valley Adventures. I mean, done some research. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. We so again I mentioned I'm an educator and we moved recently. I'm a Georgia boy, but we recently moved to the Chattanooga area in the last couple of years. And I work still on the Georgia side in Walker County. And I was just trying to figure out places to run. And my wife's aunt is actually one of the endurance horse riders, like the yeah, the Tevis Cup, that's the precursors of Western States. And she was telling me I go out to Pigeon Mountain and stuff all the time. And I started looking at Pigeon Mountain. I was like, nobody runs here. Here's how you know there are no Strava segments out here, right? Like that's a easy way to figure out nobody's running. But there are people doing all these other activities. So the horse riders, it's a world-class caving destination. There's a big bouldering area. There's some cycling, but nobody was running. So I went and checked it out. And it's just this amazing, beautiful place where, there are waterfalls. You can run through go through these old mining tunnels where they mined iron and they had a single gauge railroad going through it. And I was just kind of like honestly inspired as like somebody needs to put on an event out here. Like, who can I talk into doing this? And the more I thought about it, the more I realized like, oh, it's just going to be easier for me to do this rather than to like convince somebody else to do it. I'm already motivated and passionate. So that was kind of the idea behind that. And the more we talked, and with my job now in the school system, I'm kind of out in the community a lot, working with different people. So the county has a farm in that area. And so we were able to work and we staged the race at Mountain Cove Farms. And we're able to offer for that race. That's what started all. We have a 50K, 30K, and 10K. Next year will be our 4th year. And we've been ramping up. We had, I don't know, I'm going to say like 200, 250 runners this last year. We've been able to partner with Fleet Feet here in Chattanooga. We've had Hoka sponsor it the last few years. So just like a lot of like goodwill because me, Stefan, and Troy, we're out volunteering at races all the time. We run an aid station at Pine Mountain, the Pine Mountain 40, which is an old school ultra put on by Guts. We have an aid station at Cruel Jewel. We started an aid station at Penhody lately. So since we go out and help so much in the community, we had a lot of goodwill coming back to us to help put that race on. And it's just a special place, and it helps bring dollars into, honestly, a remote rural area, and it helps kind of benefit the economy there and bring local tourism dollars to us.
Yeah, well, I think Casey and I are running that next year. What do you think, Casey?
Oh, sweet. Hit me up. I'll give you a discount.
Bring it on.
Absolutely.
You got to look at some of these pictures, man. You're not kidding around.
I'm wearing the shirt right now. I don't know if there's any YouTube part of this, but I wore it just in case. But yeah, shoot me a link. I'm always happy. And maybe you can put a link to Ultra Sign Up. We're on there. And we've got a smaller little 5K, 10K we do with the city of Chickamauga coming up. I'd like to put on some more races. I've got a couple of things targeted. But hey, if anybody in the greater Chattanooga, Northwest Georgia area, you got a trail that you feel like people aren't getting out to and it needs some love, let me know, because I'm not in this for money or anything like that. I just want people to get out, and see the natural beauty that's around them. And that's the whole thing. It's just kind of like a passion project.
Yeah, looking at it now, looks pretty sweet. Looks like my type of fun for sure.
Well, there's a couple of cool. I don't know if there's a couple of, if you go to the media thing, there's a couple of YouTube videos. We had some runners do it. Sorry, Martin, who is the ultra crowd. I will say that the wolf guy did a better video. But yeah, if you do the 50K, you go through, is it 4? That's kind of a funny story, but at least 4 of the old railroad tunnels.
At least 3, maybe a bonus. Yeah.
Maybe a bonus tunnel. Maybe the first year we were doing it, we cleared tunnels from one side. Then another day I cleared from the other side. and we didn't really have a good count on how many tunnels we cleared, and we had a surprise tunnel.
Yeah, I was out there photographing at the first tunnel, what I thought was the first tunnel, and here comes our 2 liters popping out of the ground in front of me. And I was like, that was not on the course, but cool. Like now it is.
Hey folks, if you're loving the stories, tips, and laughs we're dishing out, make sure you don't miss an episode. Hit that subscribe button so you're the first to know when a new episode drops. And hey, if you've got a second, why not leave us a review? Your feedback helps us improve and keeps this running community growing. Lace up, hit subscribe, and let's get back into the show.
Wait, so not just like an old train tunnel, like an actual tunnel?
Right. So, like it, when you say train tunnel, yes, train, but not like choo choo kind of train, like a mine train, like
Coal
it
train.
was hauled by mules on rails, if that makes sense.
That a little scary.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's a choice. So we put it as a choice during the race. You can go up and around. The trail actually goes up and around the tunnels, so it's totally your choice if you want to do it. And you need a headlamp during the day. Like there's a couple of them are like 50 yards long. So you go in this tunnel, it's pitch black in the daytime. The first time I went by myself, and I haven't seen it since. So there may be, I may be an unreliable narrator here, but I swear I got in the middle of the tunnel and I've just got my cell phone going along, and I see something out of the corner of my eye, and I look up to the left on the rock wall there, and there's just a white Bible sitting there. And I don't know why, but that really freaked me out. And I was like, I don't know if I should be praying or what's going on here. I don't know why I would need to find the Lord at this moment. I'm just going to get out of here.
Did you leave the Bible?
I left the Bible. Yeah. I don't
good
know.
call, good
Gideon
call.
put it
That's
there.
smart move. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about hallucinations when we get into Hard Rock, maybe a little bit
Oh,
more.
okay.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean that looks like, I'm just looking at the website here, but that looks, definitely looks like my type of fun, my type of mountain.
Yeah, come on down. We've had people come from, honestly, it's funny. Ultra Sign Up, not to plug Ultra Sign Up, but the way it is, it just gets the word out, right? So, like, we've gotten people internationally come to this corner of Georgia to run this race, and Colorado and Idaho, and it's just like, huh? How did you land here? And it's just like, well, I saw it, and I had to be in the area, and it's like I thought I'd give it a try.
It's a neat race. It's got a lot of good variety. It's runnable, quote runnable, you would say, but it's got 5,000 feet of climbing too. So it gives you a little bit of everything. When you are in a pint of beer at the end with us, and maybe a little bit of a little hamburger or whatever.
Zach would call it runnable. I would not.
Yeah, there's different levels of runnable. I certainly understand what you mean. Yeah, that's good. So moving on a little bit here, because what I want to talk about, what you guys all want to talk about for sure, the Hard Rock endurance run that you all participated in one way or the other. Zach running, you guys crewing and or pacing. First, can someone break down the qualifying for this thing for me? Because I don't think I quite understand it. Is it like a social club? How did you get into this race?
Okay, so I'm about to just put it out there and get a lot of hate a little bit. We went and did Bighorn in 2021, right? And Bighorn, until recently, is a Hard Rock qualifier. Okay. And so, I'll before I get everybody hating me, I will say I've been trying to get in Western States for 10 years. I will have 256 lottery tickets this time, and have been completely unsuccessful. Stefan's gotten in it. My buddy Kevin got in it. So I'm not necessarily that lucky. But with Hard Rock, I was super lucky. So it's also fun to point out on like Hard Rock Western States Lottery weekend is also the Pine Mountain 40 race weekend. So we're always down there running an aid station. So we're getting ready for that weekend and kind of watching the lotteries as we're getting ready. And I'm actually at a high school wrestling tournament at that time. And I'm like just watching Western States, been trying to get in it for like 5 or 6 years at that point. I should click over there to Hard Rock. So I click over there and I just see my name up on the screen, and I'm like, I guess I logged in my profile or something. I don't know what's going on. But no, I got in Hard Rock off one lottery ticket that year. And to make people hate our group as a whole, Kevin, who I just mentioned, got into Western States off one lottery ticket that same year. And we were then going to run the aid station at Pine Mountain. I don't remember any of that year of the race, just to be honest with you, at the aid station. So that was huge. Hard Rock was, even though I hadn't really qualified for it at that time, that was kind of like my dream race. So we definitely, Kevin and I made a handshake agreement. It's like, I'll pace you at Western and you pace me at Hard Rock, right? So we're going to both get to try these races out this summer. So that's like the fun part of it. The scary part of it is then I just completely realized, like, I have no idea how to prepare for this race. And so this was in 2022. And started trying to figure things out. And we had to put things even funnier that that's the summer we moved to Chattanooga. So in the middle of like training for this race, I'm also planning on having a big moving my whole family as a result. And so like that just, added a little bit to the fun and the stress. And the cool thing about Atlanta, I will say this for all the Atlanta runners know this, you can hit an interstate and be on, or a highway and be at the AT like quick, like within an hour. You can be to Amicalola Falls and get on some AT mountains. So that was the plan then. We're mainly talking about this year. I'll just say that first year I figured out enough to be dangerous. Went and paced Kevin at Western and then immediately flew to Silverton and started trying to get acclimatized. And about, pretty quickly in there, kind of thought I'd made a mistake. Went up, started scouting the course. I went up to the top of a Little Giant, which is for the direction I've done both times. It's the last climb of the race. And it's you climb about 3,000 feet in less than 2 miles, which is stout. That's stout alone. But the exposure, this Georgia boy was not ready for the exposure. And I was like ugly crying at the top. I was up there by myself, like snot bubbles, like, why am I up here? I'm going to fall off the edge of this thing. I've got a family. I've got so much to live for. I don't know if I need to be doing this. And it was rough. I think I called Stefan. I don't know if he remembers that or not, because I was also switching jobs. There was a lot going on.
Yeah, you called me because I was in Oregon. I was like, I'm driving that way, Zach. Stay there. I'm coming.
So the thing that saved me, this is a guy you should have on your podcast at some point. He's a character. His name's Andrew Barney. Andrew Barney has finished more Rocky Mountain slams than anyone ever. And he's got like 6 or 7. And I'll just let your listeners, viewers, look up what a Rocky Mountain slam is, because it's crazy. But I was staying at the hostel, the Avon in Silverton, because that's what got recommended to me by a previous finisher. And I met Andrew, and he had the sweetest dog. He still does. He's got another one too, named Ruby. And he invited me to go on some training runs. And once I got up there and I saw this dog chasing marmots and running around all over the place, like I totally like chilled out. Then I started noticing that people are like carrying babies up to the top of the Handy's Peak of 14ers. There's like people's grandmas. And I'm like, this isn't that bad. I'm just not used to it, right?
Yeah. The altitude's a different kind of hits you a little bit different for sure. It's
the altitude for sure, but I'm telling you that it's real. I don't know how to explain the exposure. Maybe these other two guys can a little bit, but like when you're not used to the ground just sliding out from under you all over the place and the steepness of it, and just like, hey, if I'm not paying attention, I take a digger off Bear Creek, like I'm done. It's 1,000, it's not 1,000, but it's like a several 100-foot drop. That it's still, we've gone back several years in a row now just to go volunteer. It still has taken me like 4 or 5 years to not be like shaky.
Yeah, the scale of that race is really hard to convey. I mean, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, but so difficult. And, right when you think you've hit the peak, you just realize at the top of that hill is where you can see the top of the next hill, and that's the top of the next hill. And, the aid station will be here soon, and it's not. It's just miles away. So every step is epic.
We have people that fall off Signal Mountain every year.
Yeah, we absolutely
We're only,
do.
2,000 feet.
Yes, every spring it's like so your point, like every spring you're just waiting for the alerts for the Walden Ridge. It's usually the Walden Ridge rescue team, right? That they're coming out there and getting somebody. And I don't want to make fun of anybody's injury or the deaths. Like people just walk off of stuff, and it's nowhere near the level of drop. So sometimes I do thinking back to what I was saying about doing safe things, generally it is safe, but anything can be dangerous if you're not paying attention.
Yeah. And some people think it's just like an amusement park where you're just strapped in and everything will be okay. So, all right. So you got in via lottery. So you're in the race. Now, this is a question for Stefan and Troy. Did you take more pictures of Ludovic at the start or of Zach? Because, Ludo being, what is he, 51 now? 51 years old. Pretty impressive guy. I mean,
I'm going to jump in though, real quick. I'm just pointing out we haven't talked about 24 yet. So 22, Ludo wasn't there yet. That's when I stood in the bathroom line beside Killian. So I just want to that be my flex real quick. I was ahead of him in the bathroom line, but that was about it. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, we took a lot more pictures of ourselves. It's all about us. So Ludo, we saw him. We're like, oh, there's Ludo. I'm like, oh yeah, but let's take a picture of Zach. It's much better. But there's Tara Dower. There, Courtney was laying very low. But otherwise, it's really kind of cool. You're all just in a high school gym together. Just us with everybody. The elites and non-elites. And to Zach's point, the legends of the race who aren't elite, but Hard Rock's such a community. Like them as just as well as anybody else. The ones that have done it 15, 20, 25 times.
Yeah, that's one thing I get a sense of Hard Rock is that it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but like a group that comes back together every year and hangs out, and not, I don't want to say a high school graduation because that probably it doesn't do it justice.
Camp.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you asked about the qualifications, and it's similar to Western in a lot of ways, in that you get your lottery ticket, you qualify, your chances double every year, so 1 to 2 to 4 to 8. So that's very similar, but they're different in that Hard Rock has basically 4 different lotteries, male, female, but also never have gotten in, and the veterans, anybody who's finished a race. So like that's why Zach got to do it 4 years later. You get in once, and your chances increase substantially. That's part of how they keep that culture going. So if you've done it once or more than once, you tend to be able to get back in a little bit more frequently.
Before I heard the race director talk about it and knew why they did that, I was like, that's stupid. Like people just get to come running it back. But then he was like, look, I don't want 300 people, however many people were in the race. I don't want that many people out there on the Hard Rock course for the very first time. Like,
Yeah.
much easier to have veterans intermixed with the rookies because they know like, you know what I mean? They're experienced out there, and that made sense to me. So yeah, I certainly get it now.
And I'll add, since 22 up until now, so the last like 4 or so years, we've gone back every summer just for fun. Like when we put on the race in the Cove, whatever little profit we make, like I told you, not in for the money, whatever little profit we make, I use that money and I get a place to stay, and I get rent a car for these guys who help me with the race. And we go out and we do trail work weekend just as a fun thing to do together, right? So we just go out and we volunteer for the week, and we go scout the course. And whether anybody's in the race or not, we just go do that, and we just have a fun time just being out there. It's so beautiful. But then that kind of does add to that layer of the camp atmosphere, that you get to see those same people each year after year, people we did trail work with. We saw them again this year and talking about, hey, what'd you do? Are you in the race? And that sort of thing. So it just kind of, that community aspect, I'm like you, like let some more people run the race, but you kind of, now that you're in the race, you kind of get it. You're like, oh, it's cool. And having seen Stefan and Kevin in Western, that race is super cool, but it's just a whole new crop every time. So there's some continuity with the big names like an Andy Jones Wilkins or Tim Tolleson, that kind of thing. But it's not the same where it's just the mid and back of the packer people like me who, you get those relationships too.
Yeah. And that's one thing I really admire about it is, yeah, it seems like that's a very much part of the community and is the community there. So I do, I need to make it out there 1 year for it for sure.
Come on, man. You come run the Cove. We'll throw that in as part of the deal. You come stay in the Avon in Silverton with us. It's a hostel, and we just like rent out the bunk room. And that's a cool place too, because you meet people doing the Colorado Trail or just coming through. There were people from France and Australia and everything coming through. And it's kind of like adds to the camp atmosphere, almost like dorm life. You're just like meeting all these people from all over the world.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Casey, we can't let Zach sandbag too much. I'm looking at your ultra sign up right now, and you took overall first place just a hot minute ago at a 50K. So, right?
Yeah. Here's what I'll say about that, and this is honest truth. Like I can be I can win a small race where nobody fast shows up. That's what I always say. If I win, then nobody fast showed up. That's the way I look at it. And every once in a while, I'll do okay at a race. That was a fun race. Cody Ugly, shout out to Mariah and all her people putting on some good races in the LJ North Georgia area. But yeah, we try to mix it up. It's fun to do a race where you can have that experience where you're competitive and you're at the front, and then have races like a Hard Rock when you're just trying to survive and kind of do everything in between.
Yep, I agree. You got to have both.
All right. So we start the race. You start at the Rock, right? Very cool. Was it 10,000 Silverton, around 10,000 feet?
No, it's like 9,300.
9318.
9318. Thank you, Troy. Appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. Our research department isn't real good on this show. So,
Well, it's stamped everywhere in Silverton.
oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I was close. To the nearest.
I want to back up for anybody who happens to get into Hard Rock. And I want to give you the one piece of advice. And I've told this, and not everybody's listened. So I've known a couple of people from the Georgia, Chattanooga area who've gotten in over the last couple of years. And the one thing you got to do above anything and everything, you have to go out there early. And I know there's different debates about being altitude acclimatized, right? Like you can go in the day before or whatever, limit that. That doesn't work for 13,000 feet most of the time. That works for you're talking like 10 and under. So I've known more than one person who DNF Hard Rock on their first try, and that's the only try they're going to get, because they're like, I can't swing the work schedule. I can't get out there. Like, if it means something to you, you've got to do that no matter what. That is the biggest limiting factor. You don't have to go that fast, but if you can't breathe, you can't go at all. So last time I went immediately after Western States. This time I drove out to Colorado 3 weeks ahead of time with Caleb Yawn, who's a good buddy. He was in for the first time Hard Rock this time, and we camped in Cunningham Gulch for 12 or 15 days before these guys showed up. So there was a lot, and we saw 60 plus miles of the course. We got on the course so he could see it for the first time and I could refresh myself. But that's another unique Hard Rock thing. People will go out to that camp for Western States on Memorial Day just for fun. But for Hard Rock, there are people out there for Ludo, to your point earlier. He ran like 2 or 3 soft rocks before the race started. So you just have to be out there because that's what your body needs. So that builds the community too, because you're just seeing all these people for weeks ahead of the race.
Yeah,
well, that's good to know. I saw you on Strava just going up and down Lookout Mountain. I'm like, I hope he's doing something else, because that's not enough.
Well, that's all you can do here, right? Yeah, you're absolutely right. Here in Chattanooga, Lookout's the biggest close thing, and I drive by it for work. So yeah, I would just do repeats up and over Lookout Mountain, because you can get, I can't remember right now. You think I can remember, but you could get something like 3,000 feet in 8 miles, which around here is pretty solid, but it's nothing compared to out there.
Yeah, out there is I spent a week out in Boulder, and man, yeah, you get up to 8,000 feet when you're up in Ohio and at 800 feet. And it's, oh, yeah, this isn't good. It's not built for this. Give me back the heat and humidity. All right, so the race starts.
Yep.
And it seems like a very slow moving race because you're just basically straight up a mountain, then straight down a mountain, right? So this year it went clockwise. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It went clockwise. So the Cantina aid station was last, right? What are the Kroger's Canteen?
Oh no, that's in the middle. That's it's like 50K ish this direction.
Oh, okay.
It's early.
Okay, so it's towards the end of the other way. All right, that's right. I had it backwards because it does. And that is one thing I should note, that it does flip directions every year. Some years it's counterclockwise, then the next year it'll be clockwise, correct?
And that's correct. And both times I've done it, it's been clockwise. So I was going the same direction as before. So, and what they say is you have to run both directions to be a true Hard Rocker. So I'm an untrue 2-time in Hard Rocker.
An untrue 2-time finisher of Hard Rocker. I like it. There's always next year, right?
That's right. That's a qualifying thing to point out too, that I didn't realize last time. And I ran the Bear. I guess I didn't have to, but I enjoyed the Bear. If you finish Hard Rock, that's your qualifier for 3 years instead of 2, which normally if you run a qualifier for Hard Rock, it's good for 2 years as opposed to 1 for like Western.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's good.
Yeah.
So then do you have 3 entries?
Oh, let's get it. I don't know how much math you want to get into on the entries. So
We can skip the entries. We can skip the entries.
Okay.
That's
Okay. If
math.
you really want to delve into that, like because of volunteering and because I'm a Sawyer and because of all these other things, I'm in the finishers thing, I got a pretty good odds. My odds get pretty decent.
Got it. That's all we need. That's good. I think, yeah, we covered that topic pretty well because I'm
Okay.
sure it gets complicated and whatnot. At what point do you get Troy and Stefan to come in as pacers in Hard Rock?
So here's what I'll say. I'll kind of go through my story of the race a little bit. It's worth noting that before even leaving town, we're turning a corner to go up the first little hill just to get out of town. And Zach Miller is standing there shouting at people. I'm just like, whatever. He's just cheering people on. They're like, look, there's a bear. And it's like, oh, that's funny. Somebody put a bear up in that tree, like a stuffed bear. And like, then it raised its head. So before even leaving town, there was a pretty decent sized bear just hanging out in the notch of this tree, just on the corner. So I kind of consider that to be a good omen. I don't know if that's the case or not, but that's what I was thinking at the time. And then you go on, you cross Mineral Creek in this direction. You do it immediately, right? And they discourage people from going this way. I had made a plan that didn't really work out and make sense after I did it. I thought I could keep my feet drier longer after the creek. So I was planning on changing socks. So that's what I did. So after I get out of the creek, I'm going to change socks. I also was like, I didn't go to the bathroom enough. So I got to use the bathroom. That's part of trail running, right? That's part of the thing. So I use the bathroom, and then I'm sitting there and I'm changing my socks. And then I realized there's a drone overhead of me that like Mountain Outpost is like, man, that was about a minute from me being live using the bathroom on the internet. So that's another interesting aspect that's happened this year as opposed to my first year is now there's all kinds of photographers and drones and stuff out there on the course, which wasn't the case before, which it's not a distraction. It's just, it's just different this time.
Yeah. And pretty good footage they get out there too. Like,
yeah. Somehow we still haven't managed. So I can still say that when I hit Grant Swamp Pass and hit that scree, I just run straight down it. And there's no evidence to the contrary, despite there being cameras out there this year. So I'll say that because that's always a place I like to watch the years I'm not running is to see people go down the scree, but somehow they missed me on it this time. So as far as you guys know, just ran straight down it like a boss.
All we got to go on. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so you're to your point earlier, Casey, like you're just constantly going up or down something. So when I leave out these guys, I'll let them say what they do, but they have a minute. Like I don't think they see me till mile 18 just for crewing. Is that right? I'm trying to remember what that is. Chapman, yeah. So they go eat breakfast. They go have
we get coffee. We get coffee and burritos.
Yeah. I need a friend to run this so I can have the fun crew experience because I always hear stories about all the fun things they're doing because they're driving over mountain passes and seeing people do silly things. And that helps, keep me distracted too. But it does sound like a lot of fun.
So Troy and Stefan, you guys got to go eat breakfast and have lunch before because I'm looking at the map here and until Chapman Gulch, there's some serious climbing going on.
Yeah. We have a good breakfast at the Coffee Bear, the Silverton staple. Get the burritos there. We drive over Ophir Pass, which is a great four-wheel drive pass. And then we see him at Chapman. And then we go get lunch in Telluride, hang out in Telluride, and and wait for him to show up there. And we still don't get to run with him. We say, hey, and then he leaves Telluride.
But it's fun. It's because we have so much time there. We knew quite a few people in the race at that point, so we just get to be everybody's cheerleaders for a while. So it's like a warm up before things start to get real.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, it's just such a cool story to hear. So you get to hang out and Telluride a little bit. Not the worst place to hang out in the world, certainly not, right?
Oh yeah, Telluride's beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice. It's pricey. It's the rich part of the circle.
Yeah, it's definitely not cheap. I've heard that before. So
it's perfect though. You're getting all these little mini vacations, right? So.
We know all the spots for sure.
Here's my part. I'll add. So you've come over Grant Swamp Pass at that point. So that's like the sketchiest climb or scree down, maybe in the whole race. But the next one is going up from Telluride. You're going up to Kroger's that we mentioned earlier. So and I'd been up like when Caleb and I were getting ready for the race, we'd went up to Kroger's from both directions just for fun, just to kind of remember what it's like. And it's got some scree. It's also just got some steep stuff that's just super exposed and challenging where, you're going up just to slide backwards, 2 steps up, slide 1 step back just because it's loose. But as I'm going up before I even get to the meadow, and you're just hiking, so I'm taking it easy. I look up and I see somebody sitting down on the trail, and there's 2 people beside him. As I'm going up, it's Jamil Curry, and he's sitting there just looking dejected, right? He's like sitting there like trying to like gnaw on a sandwich or something. But the funniest thing about it is there are these 2 girls. I mean, no offense to them. This is just what I observed. I feel like they were just fangirling over him, and they have to be in the race at this point. They're like, there's no pacers or anything, right? And they're just sitting there talking to him, and I'm just hiking on by, and they're like, I didn't know hard rock would be so hard. And I was like, you're teeing me up. I'm like, it's in the name. It literally in the name says hard. I was like, you got everything you need, dude. And he's like, yeah. And I just, keep on going. But that was such a funny, like odd thing to see happening was one, because he's such an accomplished runner for him to be, having that low point at mile 25 and then for them to clearly be annoying him and them be oblivious to it cracked me up.
Yeah. Like, yeah, get on with it. Let me just lay here in misery and peace, right? Yeah. We've all been there. We're just don't touch me, don't look at me. Just
Yeah, I get ignored, but just a nice job when I'm hurting.
Yeah.
That's why a nice job. Like, clearly, I'm not having a good time. I'm not doing a nice job.
There's nothing worse. You're like on your hands and knees, and some guy or girl, oh, good job, you're doing great. Like, no, I'm not. I can barely move. I'm clearly not doing great. I'm doing very bad.
We need to shout out. I've lost her name. Do you guys remember the lady? She's from Chattanooga that was at Telluride, and she helped me out. Do you remember her name? I know Brent. Robin?
Yeah, Robin.
Who she and her husband co-founded Bad Beard Events that now Jenny Smith runs. But they're at a lot of local stuff here that Bob will know, like with Wild Trails and Bad Beard Events here in Chattanooga. And that's a funny thing when you go out there too. You see these people out of context that are like maybe from your area or something. You're like, wait, what are you doing out here? So that's just a fun aspect of it too.
Nice. Yeah. It's like seeing your teacher outside of school, I guess, right?
Absolutely. It's a good comparison.
Yeah. Okay. So you get, and I'm looking at this climb from Telluride, right? And it's just straight up. It's just one line straight up. There's really anything else. So you get up there, and then the famous Kroger's Canteen, correct?
Yes, sir.
There. I've heard a lot about it. It's a popular aid station amongst ultras. Can you describe Kroger's Canteen for me, please?
I mean, it's just a notch in the rocks, just to be honest with you. Like I was saying, as you're going up, and it helped that Caleb and I went up there a couple times because you just, even though you've been there before, you forget that you're just on this little narrow, like maybe a foot wide path where it's just scree above and scree below. So if you go off, you're sliding a long ways. And even on the path, you're sliding backwards as you go. And it's steep enough that, like, in some spots, the trekking poles, sometimes they help, and sometimes you're like, I just got to put these away and I got to scramble up it, right? And once you get in there, it's a very narrow little place. I think maybe if we were all standing shoulder to shoulder, it feels like 10 people could stand there, but that's it. And people are moving around. So you don't hang out super long. The first time I went through, I was in 22, I was trying to outrun a thunderstorm. So I didn't stay very long at all. I was trying to get down low and it started hailing. So it was a whole thing. But yeah, you just kind of hang out and it's cool and it's fun, but you don't want to be there long. And they have, they'll offer you, they have more than you think. They got like Coke and pierogies, like they're cooking stuff. A lot of them are harnessed in. There's a shot of mezcal that's optional that I always take them up on, right? And then as you're going down it, usually going down in those places is a little worse. You're trying to pick your way down. And both times there's been some snow. So at a certain point, I'm like, can't fall if you're already on your butt. So I'll just butt slide the snow as far as I can, which is just, fun. It's summer and you're in the snow. Yeah. So you get that and but I'll say this time, one of the highlights during our trail work, there was a day that trail work was for the most part canceled because of smoke, because we had the threat of the wildfires in the area. But I was helping the course director, Brett, and he needed to go up there, and there was a reroute plan because of some mine activity just below Kroger's, right before Camp Bird Road. So he and I won't get into the whole detail of why we had to use my truck, but he and I cut in a quarter mile of trail there, brand new trail, a reroute for the course, just he and I. And when I was in the race and going down through it, Howie Stern, who's a pretty well-known ultra photographer, was there during the race and took a couple of pictures of me on the trail that I cut in, like while I'm in the race. And it was just like, oh no, like really filled my cup up. Just like a little kind of like full circle moment where I was like, that's pretty awesome. All right, like on the trail that you made part of the Hard Rock course, you got your picture by the guy. So
yeah, for sure is. Yeah.
So that was the exciting part there for me.
So we get to Ouray. I hope I said that right. Ouray, right?
I've heard it. I've heard it a lot of ways. I hear Ouray a lot.
Your way, our way, their way, every way. Anyway.
So that's it. The next crude aid station where you see Stefan and Troy, right?
Yep.
You could bring a pacer along with you from Ouray, right?
Yeah. So get into there. I hadn't said this, but I was probably at this point, I think, and Stefan, Troy, you can tell me, I think I'm a little behind time-wise compared to where I was in 22 coming in. Not much.
You're about 45 minutes behind the time from 4 years before.
Yeah. At that point, okay, that's a good chunk. 45 minutes behind. So I was feeling good. It wasn't like I was feeling bad or anything at that point. But coming in there, sit and eat. Now, at this point, my stomach's still pretty good. I don't remember what I might just be able to identify right now what turned my stomach, but I was eating pretty good.
Was it the pina colada mix by chance?
It could have been the pina colada mix. Was a bad choice.
They really hyped that up.
Given to you by a doctor.
Yeah, it was prescribed by a doctor right then. Yeah,
it was.
That's right, Jim. Jim's
the
a
same.
doctor.
Yeah, the same doctor.
He's like a friend. Oh, can we do a sidebar and talk about his stitches?
Sure.
Oh no.
Go ahead, Stefan.
I'll let you introduce. You were the ones who actually recorded it. Link in the show notes.
Oh man, we should link that. It might get you some more hits. Yeah, just pointing out these guys come out, like 10 days before the race, so they're all in, right? They're getting acclimatized, having a blast, and we went up. They came over. I dropped them off to come over Little Giant, and I ran up from town to meet them. And Stefan took a tumble in a creek, and this is one of those moments where, I was like, "Hold on, let me get my phone out. All right, now I'll cross the creek.
Here, hold my beer. I'm about to come across the creek." We had a great run too, by the way. We were flying down the mountain, feeling great, too confident, and all I tried to do was tippy toe across this creek, which Zach went across on poles very wisely with his poles. Now I very wisely had poles on my back, but unwisely did not take them out to use them. And anyway, I blame the rocks. The rocks were very unstable. I was very stable. The rocks were not, and I ended up 10 feet up the creek, and the rocks are sharper in Colorado than Georgia, much, much sharper. And so, that knuckle got shaved right off. Happened to be downstream from a beaver dam. So that made infection real nice of a possibility. So anyway, we got to know the local doctor pretty well there in Silverton. And thank goodness, I think he had only been working in Silverton for about a year, maybe Silverton's first doctor in the old miners hospital. Definitely a one-man show. And it's so funny. It's really such a small town thing because I think the rest of the week everyone's coming up to me, how's your finger? Oh, it's fine, thanks for asking. Didn't know everybody knew about that.
Oh, I think the tetanus shot makes the community even tighter.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. So then I got literally just a casual text message. This is Becky from Health and Human Services or whatever. Heard you need a tetanus shot. Yeah. Can you meet me at 5:15 at the old miners hospital? Sure. Like, that's a lot to ask. It's your day off. She's like, no, it'll help me. I got somebody else to give one to. So, so these guys come over there with me. It's not long after I'd had the stitches put in, and we're sitting on the steps, and Here comes a Jeep. Person gets out, and we're like, "You're either Becky or the other person needs a tetanus shot." So she literally raises the same middle finger. This is the middle finger I'm holding up on the camera. And I was like, "Oh, you're the other one." So anyway, Becky had come over because she had started a batch of fudge over at the fudge shop. She just started, had a little time to kill until it was ready to get taken care of. And the other lady, Jennifer, who runs the restaurant, which is the old Avalanche Brewery in town, and I can't, and the new name of it, Troy would have to tell us. Alpine, Alpine,
Yeah, I forget.
yeah, Alpine Restaurant. Yeah. So I mean, it was just like everybody knows everybody. Really, really funny. But yeah. So yeah. So I got to pace Zach actually with stitches in my finger the whole time.
And we hiked after you got the cut for like we walked for 3 miles with you just bleeding on the trail too.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're 3.5 miles outside of town when it happened, so I just had to wrap it up in a shirt and hope for the best. And that doctor who is from my hometown, Rome, took the stitches out right after Zach finished, or took two of the stitches out right after Zach finished running or starting the race. We just did it right in the gym, right in the middle of the crew briefing. You know, everybody's just looking like, "What's going on over there? It's just minor surgery." But so he took two out. It wasn't quite healed up, and so I ran with two stitches in my finger.
We're gonna have to have a follow-up podcast stuff on just with you to
We-
tell that story in more detail. I know everyone that listens is going to want to know more. So
Hey, when we could come back and tell, and I was running Cruel Jewel that year, but they had the hiker at Cruel Jewel who got the trekking pole through his whole hand a year or two ago, so they could tell you about that. Yeah, but I'll digress a whole bunch if you let me.
There's so many stories.
Yeah.
All right. So Ouray, just saying. So we came out of Ouray. I picked up actually my buddy Brent, who is his first time coming out to Hard Rock. He's super awesome guy. He had paced me at Cruel Jewel. He's like a recon Marine veteran. He's like a dude you want to have for stuff. But when you come up from Ouray, you're going up Bear Creek. So for anybody wanting to know the scariest part of the whole Hard Rock course, in my opinion, it's Bear Creek, because it is an old mining path, I guess. I don't know how to say it, but it's at some points maybe 6 foot wide, and it's a rock wall on your left when you're going up, and it's a several 100 feet drop straight down on your right. So if you were to go off the side, there's probably not much hope for you, and you're going up in the dark. But I've been up in the day. I know what's there, and it really freaks me out. Those guys can tell you, because we've done trail work up there a couple of times, and they make fun of me because I'm going so slow and like basically like hugging the wall and stuff. But I was better this year. Caleb and I had went earlier, and I had actually jogged down Bear Creek a little bit and felt better. But as we were going up, we see a couple of runners ahead of us kind of stop, and we're like, "What's going on?" And they point, and it was at the top of my wildlife list. It was so awesome. There was the biggest porcupine I have ever seen blocking this 6 foot wide trail that you have no way to get around him. Right? I mean, like quills like a foot long. He was huge. And we're in the dark with headlamps. There's something happening. He just kind of looked over his shoulder at us and went, huh, and kind of waddled along, eventually got out of the way. But it's like, I can't jump a porcupine at this point in any race. So I don't know what we're going to do here. So
And porcupines aren't really scared of anything. They have no fear of anything. Yeah.
And this sucker was big. I took a picture, but it's pretty bad. But it was great. Shortly after that, I had it started going a little bit downhill, metaphorically for me. First time ever I puked in a race. Never puked in a race before.
That's just so hard to believe.
Yeah, I'm not a puker, but not going to get any sponsorships by saying this, but Hard Rock was sponsored by Morton Gel this time. And I've had Morton Gels. I'm sure we all have. The consistency is something different.
Suspect a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially, I'll say the first time I had one, Stefan and I were running Boston, and I hadn't had one at all. And it scared me. I did not know what was coming. Yeah. I think Casey had to.
It's my only puke in a race too. And it was at like mile, I want to say 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, this is not it. Can't.
That must have been a hard 10K.
Yeah. Yeah, it was brutal. I was like, this is not good that I puked this thing up at mile 4. Yeah, I'm with you. It's just the consistency is not for me.
It surprises you every time. Like even if you've had one, every single time I open it up, I'm like, oh, check the expiration date. Is this thing gone bad?
I had never had one before. It was just recommended to me, and that obviously a mistake, but yeah, I get it, Zach. Yeah, my only puke was also from a Morton Gel mile 4 of the Laurel Highlands 50K.
Well, that sort of like set off a tipping point, I think. Like when I say moment, like at that puke, that was like a 3 pukes in a row. All of a sudden, it just hit the back of my throat funny and just like set off the gag reflex, some kind of funny. And that just continued the rest of the race, just to be honest with you, where it was like I had to just eat anything slowly, and anything that had a weird texture after that point was going to cause me to puke. So it started being like, okay, well, let's just manage it. You'll see how it goes. So just kept climbing up. That's a long climb. That's also probably one of the longer climbs. It's something like 5,000 feet in like 8 or 9 miles. So it's a long slog. We got up to let's see, you hang out engineer for a minute. It's cold there, so you don't want to stay long. You got to get out of there because it's cold. Dropped down to, this time it was at Grouse Gulch. Saw Stefan and Troy were there. Shout out to Katie Goggin, who's a runner in Atlanta. She volunteers as she's a doctor. She's an ER doctor in general. So she's med staff there at Grouse Gulch. So that's another example, like somebody at the teacher's not at school, right? Why are you in Colorado? But we knew she was there. And from there, you go up Handy's Peak. And my buddy Jeremy, he had never been up a 14er before. So we decided, let's take Jeremy up this part of the race. And he did great. He's a super positive dude. And we just, trekked on up there, and you're getting the sunrise on Handy's. But yeah, that was fairly uneventful because I'll say the previous year, Stefan went up Handy's with me, and I got really cold at the aid station before and had to like just get out of there. They put me in like a cot, and because I was so cold. But eventually I was like, I just need to keep moving. And if I climb up Handy's, I think I'm going to warm up, even though it's, high up. All that work is going to make me warmer. So I tried to avoid that same mistake this time.
Got it. So in Stefan and Troy, you guys did a lot of driving for this, I imagine, right?
That's I'd say one of the toughest things about crewing this race and races like it, like even Western's got that where you have to kind of, if you want to go to the other side of the canyon, you got to drive 3 hours. And so this has the same deal. So I actually wasn't at Grouse Gulch. While they all were there, I was en route to the other side of Handy's, which is where I was going to pick him up. And, that was a almost 3 hour drive to get there. So, yeah, so I was over there. And then finally made it, and got a few hours of sleep waiting on him to come across the mountain with Jeremy.
Good comparison to the Western states. When I crewed it, they were like, "Oh, the aid station 1 that I had to go to was," and I looked at the map. I was like, "That's 10 miles away or something. That's no big deal." And then 3.5 hours later, I'm going up the canyon to.
Same idea, yeah. And then that drive wrapped around the fire that was going on, the Gold Mountain fire. So it was smoky. There had been another fire that popped up. There were a lot of emergency vehicles and a lot of helicopters and airplanes and everything working. So it was wild. It was a little wilder this year than that first time we went out there.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's freaky scary too when you see that kind of stuff going on around you and you're just out there, kind of in the moment, I guess, right?
Totally. Yeah, totally.
Sweet. So we get to Handy's. That is the high point of the race, about right around 14,000 feet, right?
Yep, it's a 14er. Yeah, just over 14.
So you see the sun come up. That's your first morning, right?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
So we're 24 hours. Okay, so we're 24 hours in. All right. Okay, got it. So 24 hours in, see the sun come up from Handy's. Got a long way down to go to, it looks like Sherman, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep, and Sherman, that's like coming down from there. It's not terrible, but it's kind of an annoying downhill. It just seems there are all these log steps for some reason that are weirdly spaced when we have stiff legs. But yeah, Jeremy and I ran down there. Stefan was you stop at Burroughs first. My stomach was still off. I was trying different things with some Tums and Pepto and that sort of thing, trying to figure that out. And we go along. The drones are back now because we're on a forest road.
Dak, I never asked if you had to play Ring the Reindeer.
I did not stay long enough for Ring the Reindeer this time. And the previous
Ring the Reindeer?
Yeah, Go ahead, Stefan.
Well, aid stations will have themes. I don't Hard Rock doesn't do that a whole lot, but this one did. And I think I guess that was a Christmas theme that year. And so anyway, Zach had approached that aid station. He was doing great, but he was really concerned about his feet. So he's very focused on his feet, and they're trying to have a lot of fun. And Zach,
My feet were wet, and I did not want to get trench foot this far into the race.
now, Zach is all about having fun, like all the time. We all are, but like in this moment, he was not wanting to have fun. Like he wanted to fix his feet and keep going. And so, but they put inflatable reindeer antlers on me and gave him these rings, and they wanted him to ring the reindeer antlers, and he got some prize if he could get it done. I don't know. He just kept throwing them in my face and hitting me with the rings and like, just get this over with, get out of there. So yeah, I've been wondering if they did that again. I can't believe they did.
Mainly the guy, I was asking the doctor there about stomach stuff, and he was just kind of like shrugging his shoulders, being like, I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to get out of here and hope I get better luck at the next.
Well, I'm sitting in Sherman, which is Lake City, and I had been sitting there for a while. It was probably about 10 o'clock. And I'd seen a bunch of people come in, including some buddies from Atlanta, like Dimitri came through, and then Andrew came through. And I'm still waiting on Zach. And then I see this little skinny guy come running up the road. And I was like, I recognize those little legs. That's Jeremy. But where's Zach? And Jeremy's the pacer. He comes up and like, you lost your runner, Jeremy. Like, where's Zach? And Jeremy, he's a little wide-eyed. He's like, well, Zach's been feeling sick and puking and barely run, and he sent me up ahead to see if I can find anything to help or give everybody a warning that he's coming in hot and or not hot. It's his stomach's hot or whatever's hot. I don't know. But he wasn't feeling good. So anyway, you weren't too far behind him, but that was an interesting like foreshadowing of like we may have had a little work to do here.
Yeah, and I came in there and it was, was feeling all right. I will say they had banana pudding, which for some reason that hit the spot at that aid station. Wouldn't have expected it, but I could eat that. And we kind of felt like got together, talked to a few different people, felt okay about it. I was excited too, though, because I ended up doing 2 weekends of trail work out there. And the first weekend we had come over to that area. We'd driven across Cinnamon Pass, and we had cleared 39 trees off the trail with cross-cut saws, right? Not chainsaws, like manual lumberjack saws, because that's what was required in the area. So I'd been over there, and I was like super proud of my work, if nothing else, and just excited to see that spot and show. Stefan has seen a lot of the course over the years of us going out there, but he hadn't seen this section. So I was kind of excited about that aspect of it, and I knew we'd be in the shade for a while too, and it was starting to toast up a little bit. So I'm gonna tell you my version of this next situation and see what Stefan what he comes up with.
Yeah, we're gonna share two perspectives here potentially. Yeah, go ahead.
So we're coming in, and I've carried a water filter the whole race because just in case, and I've had to use it at Hard Rock. You get a long time between aid stations, and I hear them having a conversation. They ask me if I still have mine, and I'm like, yeah. And Jeremy asked Stefan if he has his. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, if he's got one, I mean, I don't have to carry one. I don't want to carry extra weight if I don't have to. There's a lot of water through this area. So, we'll just be fine with one. And that's all I think about it. And I fill up my bottles, and we're going along for a while. And I'm like, hey, I'm out of water. Need to fill something up at a stream here in a minute. And we did not have a water filter. So I don't know what happened there.
Yeah. Let me tell a more colorful story, version of this story. This is good. I'd had my water filter in my pack the entire week. Yeah. And I still haven't found it. I'm still looking for it. I did miss the part where Jeremy or you decided that shaving the 2 ounces of the hook hair in the water filter would be a good idea. So
yeah, you can't carry that extra 2 ounces up the. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, that'll make all the difference.
Yeah, the water filter is the first thing you want to toss for sure.
Yeah.
There are, I guess anybody who's paced a runner through 100-mile in particular, if you get the right section, there are stages of bonkiness There's the puke and rally. There's also the puke and disintegrate. So, I don't know where Zach was in that terms of that, but I knew he'd puked. He'd never really puked before. He was not feeling great there. He was doing okay. And then, so as we were climbing up there, Zach, who was typically very loquacious, I guess you would say. Was pretty quiet, but he was narrating, like he said, but he was pretty quiet. I could tell he was not feeling too well and making some unusual noises every now and then. Yeah, we ended up kind of by ourselves for a little while, and we were literally getting up this, I don't know, 5 or 6 mile climb, just counting the trees. I'd be like, Zach, did you cut that tree? He's like, yeah, I cut that tree. Did you cut that tree? Yes, I cut that tree. And then did you cut that tree? Well, me and two girls cut that tree, and so on and so on. And really, as we climbed up, it was beautiful. But as we climbed up, it was just a progression. And so there's another stage of bonkiness, I think, where you start to not speak in full sentences. And Zach did hit that spot. Like he ceases to speak in full, complete sentences. He's like, man, hot out, hot. I was like, yep, it's hot. I'm thirsty. I'm really thirsty. So we went through that phase and we're about breaking through tree line and it got really hot. And Zach hit the next stage. And the next stage of bonkiness is you can only say one word at a time. And Zach got to that stage too. And so he was like, hot. He could just say one word, hot. And I was like, yeah, this is hot. Thirsty. I was like, yeah. He's like, water. Out. I was like, "Oh, you're out of water." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "No problem. I'll get my filter." No filter. He'll get his filter. I looked at his bag, no filter. He's like, "Filter gone." Jeremy. I was like, "Oh, okay." No, I said, "Do not panic." I was like, "It's 85 degrees. We're at 12,500 feet. We're 4 miles from the aid station. Totally exposed section that we're getting into. Don't worry." It's going to be fine. We know plenty of runners ahead of us. I knew Dimitri was ahead of us. There's runners behind us. We would cross a creek. You'd be like, water. I was like, yeah, water, but we can't drink. Don't drink that water. Keep walking. And so we did eventually beg some water off of somebody, and that fixed that. But then he was like tired. I was like, yeah. I said, you're probably really tired. I was like, you want some caffeine? He's like, caffeine. I was like, want some? He's like, no. And he looked up at me and with a full sentence, like finally, like a full sentence out of nowhere, he looks up at me almost like a toddler might look up with these little eyes. And he was like, I could take a nap.
Did you take a trail nap?
I said, you could take a nap if you want to take a nap. And just then, like a thru hiker came by, coming the other direction. If you remember this.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. And Zach really perked up and he was like, is there any shade? Shade? And the thru hiker was like, there's shade is like there's no shade until you get over the pass. And I was like, oh no, crap, we're in trouble. And he perked up. He's like, oh, that's just a mile away. It was like 3.5 miles it's fast. But I was like, all right, Zach, we just gotta get to the pass and get some shade and you can take a nap. So he jumped right up and we started walking again. And yeah, he was good. I said he just kept saying hot. You were like, oh, hot. I'm like, you want to take your long sleeve off? Like, take your long sleeve off. It's hot. You're like, no, like long sleeve keeps me cool. I was like, okay,
It's
buddy.
a sun hoodie. It's a sun hoodie.
I was like, okay, whatever you need.
I will say when Stefan was finding me some water, I was like, he was like, just keep walking and I'll find you. I was like, all right, sweet. So I just kept walking. I was like, I could lay down now. He's not here. He can't stop me. Right. So I laid down beside the trail for
I saw you.
Yeah.
You could see
I was
forever.
caught. It was like 45 seconds maybe, because when I laid down, then there was just more of me exposed to the sun. And I was like, I got hotter. I was like, well, this is terrible. Now, like, then I didn't want to nap at all. I was just like, let's get out of here. So my version, after I got some water and we got to the top of the pass, I felt good and I could run ish, like relative to Hard Rock Run, right? So we started jogging all the way down to the aid station. And from then on, I was fine. But that was definitely the low point.
Yeah, we got you some Coke in you at the Pole Creek aid station. Took a little food, had a little Pringle sandwich that they were serving. 2 Pringles with avocado in the middle of it. Yeah, you definitely perked up after that.
But that was like this section the whole time, like he's saying, it was super exposed. It's beautiful, but it was smoky sun and you're just kind of brain baked. And it was like there was nobody around us after Pole Creek. It seemed like you could just see down this whole meadow and it's just the two of us. And one time he pointed, there's just an elk staring at us. And it's like, I'm not sure what's happening right now, but I know where we are. So I'm going to keep moving forward.
That's totally accurate. You really had no idea what was going on at that point. It was awesome.
Yeah, because I was gonna say looks like you're still about 13,000 feet up there. So
oh yeah, you're never, except for when you're in a town, you're just always high up. But yeah, just so we kept going. We hit Maggie's Gulch. We had some good climbs. Stefan hadn't been to this sections before. We were kind of trucking along. We were passing people, especially on the downhill, the loose scree stuff. We were, overtaking people that weren't as confident. And that was the
bowl of
difference.
soup. You had really perked up by Maggie Gulch.
That was the big difference between this year and 22 was I had really strong legs, Bob, from all those lookout mountain up and downs. Like even though my calories had been off, my legs were strong and like I could run the loose downhills, which I couldn't before. So was feeling good into that. We came across Green Mountain, which when you're Green Mountain is on the other side of Cunningham Gulch from Little Giant. And only when you're on Green Mountain can you actually see how big Little Giant is. So that's kind of like a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. It's like, I got to go over that. But first, I got to drop down 2,000 feet before we go over that up 3,000 feet.
I was like, don't look, Zach. Do not look straight ahead. Look at your feet.
I should send you guys a link. I got interviewed in Cunningham Gulch. I made like the Mountain Outpost or whatever, like little video thing has my name and stuff on it. And they talk to me and I kind of tell them about how I'm feeling, that sort of thing. But we proceeded Troy. I'm picking up Troy there. And Troy, when I got in again, he's like, hey, he told me at the beginning, he's like, I want to take you over the end at Little Giant. I was like, all right. So like that was his training goal, right? To be ready to quote unquote not get dropped by me. And I'm thinking, if there's no way I'm dropping anybody at the end of Hard Rock. But we proceed to start going up, and I'm feeling pretty good because somehow despite me wanting to take naps and everything, I've made up time. Like during this low point, I got ahead of where I was in 2022, and I still don't know how that happened. To me, it was just a time warp. So I don't know.
It was completely due to your pacer.
No, okay. So the amazing pacer there, he just wouldn't let me lay down, and I saved an hour. I didn't lay down the last time. But so Troy and I, this is Troy's going to enjoy telling this story, and I'll get out of his way. But we're going up, and we're trucking pretty good. But all of a sudden, we've gone up, and it's 3,000 feet in less than 2 miles, and we've gone up at least maybe 1,000 feet at that point, and somebody is gaining on us like crazy. And it's like, well, let's move out of the way. I don't know who that is. So we move over, and it's Jamil Curry, and he's caught back up to me, and he's back, and I'm like, well, we're not going to see him again. And he's got Rachel Intrican, like the winner of Cocodona, is his pacer, and we could just hear her talking 100 miles per hour. He's not really saying much, but they're just flying up it, and I'm like, we're never going to see them again. And I was wrong because Jam Jam's tummy was still bothering him, so they would pass us and stop. And we would just go past him, and we would just leapfrog the whole time up Little Giant. And like you just have to take breathing breaks going up that at the end. So I'd stop and I'd look and like, should I just wait and let him pass me again? Like, no, let's keep going. So we get up over the pass there at Little Giant, and we're going down. You go down along this rocky, narrow little single track. And they're still behind us, but you come to a spot, if you're not familiar with that trail, and I wasn't the first time, where you're going along and all of a sudden the trail's just not there. But if you look to the left, you're supposed to slide down this scree about 30 or 40 yards, just like straight down the mountain. It's like, that's the trail. There's a flag way down there at the bottom. And Troy had been over it already. Troy had a funny video himself where we teased him a little bit where he might have been butt scooting when he did it before the race. So I start going down it, and Troy's, we're spreading out. Nobody wants to get hurt. So I get down to the bottom. I'm looking, and Troy starts, and he's good. He's on his feet. And go ahead, Troy. Tell him what happened next.
I start thinking ahead. Okay, let's be careful. Let's get down. I start, and Jam Jam and Rachel start right behind me. I mean, they are on me quick. And I'm like, okay, now I have to really pick up my feet. I have to stay upright because the last thing I need to do is fall and take down two of the most known trail people in the world.
You take down Rachel Intrican. I mean, people probably be divided about Jam Jam, but if you took down Rachel Intrican, that would be a
not going
problem.
to win many hearts there for sure.
So I'm going down as fast as I can, and I make it down probably 3 or 4 times faster. Stayed on my feet, and I was like, Zach, you're my witness. You have to back up my story.
Oh yeah, I'll totally back up his story. From my perspective, I'm like turned around looking, all right, let's go, Troy. And he's like half a second on it, and they're just winging him either side, and they're coming 3 wide down it. And I'm kind of like, crap, I got to move down the trail. I'm gonna get taken out by something here that's falling down. And it was like, so the best part to me, and Troy won't tell this part, is they get ahead of us. And that's great. Whatever. Not going to see him again. Again, wrong. We going down. Jam Jam's got a belly problem. And Rachel's standing on the trail. And Troy's like, he said he didn't think about it that way, but he's like super passive aggressive. He goes, hey, he said, I'm a really big fan. Just was young, really big fan. He's like, oh, thanks. Like, yeah. And you taught me something. It's like, I didn't know I could scree slide that well until you just like went right beside me and didn't give me the opportunity to go down.
I didn't know. See, no, we're going to give this to like mile 95 hearing because I didn't say you didn't give me the opportunity.
Whatever it was like, I'm a really big fan. You kind of like put me in a bad spot back there though.
That was your perception. I was trying to be a fan.
Well, maybe
now
she
you
only
put it
heard
out on a podcast forever.
But yeah, so eventually then you've got like a 5 mile downhill before a couple of miles to get into town. So we jogged that as best we could. And then I started hitting a low point on like the 2 miles out of town. I'm just like, there's a picture of me just like sitting on the side of the trail, like scratching in the dirt or something, like, because I just was tired at that point. At that point, you've gotten well into the second night. It's probably about midnight or something like that. So I was just fading, and just the not eating had really gotten to me. But I'd still, if I had the energy, I could run. It was just an energy issue. And we jogged it on in. Ended up being an hour faster than in 2022, despite all the belly problems, and felt really good about that, honestly, because it like if I hadn't been low on calories, that's the only thing I felt like was a negative in the race, but I just had a really good time overall.
Yeah. I would say notable of that was me asking where the creek was that Stefan fell in, and he goes, it was the creek back there where we got water. And I was like, oh, I guess because we both had poles, we crossed that creek carefully.
That was it.
Yeah, Stefan made it sound like a raging river, and it was like a little trickle.
But now when everybody got to Cunningham and was like triple checking that I had a water filter, makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
because we did stop and filter water at the creek that Stefan fell out of. And I'm like, okay, I'll get some water. And Zach just points off over into the bushes, and there's like this pipe that is like half in the water and half out in the dirt, and there's a hole in it, and water's just shooting straight up in the air. And you just walk up and fill the water bottle and top it off. I was like, oh, that's pretty slick.
This last 10 miles of the race is 10 miles, no aid station. So yeah, you had to be ready.
Yeah, that's a long haul. Like I'll say this too, going up Little Giant, like and it's similar both years. My first mile is 45-minute mile, and then the second mile is an hour and 15-minute mile, because you're worn out, but also it's 3,000 feet of climb in less than 2 miles, and it's at elevation, so it's nuts.
Yeah, it's I really do need to get out there. It's awesome to hear your story. So you get across the line, you kiss the rock, right? Yeah.
Kiss the rock, kiss the goat or the sheep on the lips, right? Like that's the only way I know how to do it. Treat it proper. Yeah. And then they walk into the gym, they got like an aid station, and it is 95 degrees in there. And I pretty much immediately said, let's get out of here. It's so hot. Just wanted to get out of there. But no, great experience. Next day, they have like in the other year, it was in the gym and it's almost like a school graduation. Now it's out in the park. So it's cool, more spread out. You get that chance to recognize everybody. That's another part of the community aspect. You don't, Western has that right under the Big Ten at the school. But this was just a little more spread out, and you can kind of share stories with people and congratulate them and that sort of thing, and find out about their experience, because you're not having to pay attention, if that makes any sense, because you're all spread out.
It's really cool to hear. I've read about it, watched some of it on TV, but just to hear the first person account from the three of you, I certainly appreciate you telling the story. It's really cool. And Rob, we've talked about it. We definitely need to make it out there next year.
Yeah, we do. We've been talking about it for a few years now.
Please hit us up. You got my email. Again, if you want to come around the Cove, I'll send some links if you need any links for any of that. I appreciate if y'all help advertise that, because like I said, we go out and try to help with as many races here locally as possible. Like I'm on the Wild Trails race team. I just volunteered at Still Hollow yesterday. So when we put on a race, it's because we want to give those opportunities, and we use it to go help other people, because that's why we're out here. We wouldn't be able to do the things we do and have those adventures if we didn't have that support from other people. So I just really feel like you got to pay it forward.
So Zach, where can our listeners find you on the internet?
If you go to Instagram, Facebook, we're Ridge Valley Adventures is the name of the little race company. So that's probably the best way. I mean, you could find me individually, but I don't post too much individually if I can help it. We have a website, it's ridgevalleyadventures.com. The Cove is our big race. It's on Ultra Sign Up if you want to check that out. Love to have some more people come down and help support our local runs.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
Certainly appreciate it. Thank you very much. Look forward to talking to you and seeing you not only down at the Cove, but also out at Hard Rock Endurance Run.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Hobby Job. We hope you've enjoyed our conversation today. And if you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your support keeps us moving forward. Until next time, keep those feet moving and enjoy the miles.